tools collect and organize your references, and you can then generate lists from that. So I'm going to step through a few of these here. Let's see, just several things. Kate, do you want to hand out, go ahead and hand out some of these as people float in. I guess we're getting a few people coming in. All right, and so here are just a couple of examples. At the top is a way to share from EndNote Basic. I'll show you where the students can actually then go into that citation management tool and look for those references. And then others, you can generate lists in Word from the citation management tool. Okay, so we're focusing on two types of citation management tools for demonstration today. There are other citation managers out there. If you use any other type like Flow or RefWorks, they can all generate bibliographies as well to put into a Word document. So I'll just give you a couple examples from these two applications. And like I said, I'll also show the sharing aspect of EndNote Basic. But what I'm looking at are, these are free applications, or what we will be looking at and using today are free. We're not going to look at the subscription aspects of it. You can get more functionality from these if you purchase, but everything we'll do today you can do for free. So EndNote Basic is free. It's an online version, and it has the sharing components with it. The nice thing, if you're a University of Wyoming person, faculty, is that you can integrate this with the Find at UW links that's in our library databases, which is really nice because we have an institutional subscription that allows that functionality to be added. If you're at another school, you may not have that, but you can still use the sharing component because it will have places for links out to the URLs. The thing about EndNote Basic when you share out is that it won't share PDFs, and that's to protect for copyright purposes. So by having these links, the students can get to and access, they can find where that reference is in the library collection without you having to try to provide a copy. If it's a subscription based, you can't provide a copy to them anyway, legally. So, and then the Mendeley is another cloud-based. It has a free download to the desktop, and both of these also have plugins for Word, but we won't need those for creating reading lists. Mendeley also has a sharing function, and they actually promote it a lot, but their free version is limited to one private group of 3 members, so it doesn't work very well for classroom. So that's why I won't show the sharing piece of that application today. I have created library guides for both for using EndNote and Mendeley. So if you want to get started on those, if you've never used them before, there are instructions to get you started there. And I won't go over that aspect today, but just show you how these can be used. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to cover 2 approaches for EndNote. We'll start with the group sharing aspect, and then we'll go into how to create a bibliography. One thing to note here, in the group sharing, there's an option for read only, or you can have students with read and write access. So if you just want a reading list, these are the assignments, you probably want to go with read only because you don't want somebody deleting a reference out of your list. But if it's like for a group or class assignment where they need to be finding references and sharing it with others in the class, you might want to use the read and write option. Just depends upon your purposes. All right, and with Mendeley, I'm just going to show how to create a bibliography. Like I said, the sharing function doesn't work so well for classrooms. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the demos, and I have instructions here on the handouts, and I also have this PowerPoint up on the, as an attachment in the schedule to the conference. So if you want to go back and refer to that, you can. But I'm going to actually put the slides down so I can do live demonstration on these. Go here, close that down. All right, we're going to start with EndNote Basic. Like I said, this is a web base. So this is what it looks. Oops, did it not? It didn't update, did it? Do I have to close out on my PowerPoint? Okay, why is it not? We need to share control function and do that. Yeah, didn't automatically share the desktop. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is what EndNote Basic looks like. If you create an account and go in, I've already logged into mine, and you'll see I'm on the My References tab, and on the left, you'll see I've got a lot of folders where I've organized my my references into different topic groups. You could create a folder for a particular topic, and we're going to create one specifically for the class that we want to do. If you want to share a group, you need to have just those references in there that you want to share, right? So maybe maybe you've got a folder like this where you have a number of references that you've collected on a topic, but say you only want maybe 3 of them to be shared with a class. So we're going to go ahead and select a few references that we want to share. And we're going to put that into a new group. So up here where it says add to group, if you click this little drop down and scroll down here, you can, there's a place for new group. We're going to go ahead and say new group. And it wants me to name it something. So I'm going to call this demo. Click OK. Now if you go over here and click on demo, you'll see that we have just those 3 articles in that folder. They call them groups here, but they're actually folders. Same thing as a folder on your desktop. So now, in order to share this, I go over to another tab. I go to the Organize tab. Whoops, Organize. Manage my groups. So I'm in the Manage My Groups. And if you look down here, I've got one now called Demo. This column here, there's a box. I can click that share box next to Demo. So that means I'm going to share it. And then click the Manage Sharing button and start sharing this group. And this brings up a window. So you can type in email addresses here, so, or you can import a list, like a text list. So if you have a long list of emails for all your students in your class, you can upload that and go ahead and put that in there. So I'm just going to share this with one of my colleagues. And again, here you can pick your read-only or read and write access. I'm going to leave it as read-only and go ahead and apply. Did it go? I'm not sure it went. Oh, okay. I think it went. All right. Oh, yeah, there it is. So I can change it if I want to from read only to read and write, whatever. But if you, your students then will get an email message, and if they don't already have an account in EndNote Basic, it invites them to sign up for one. Again, like I said, it's free. And there's, if they sign up with their UYO, if you're University of Wyoming, if they sign up with their UYO email address, they'll get this added functionality of the Find at UW button, which is really, really nice and convenient because and down here, see, these are groups that other people have shared with me. Just for example, if I go in here, I can click in here And it'll take a second, but it should bring me, it brings me right into the library page where they can find that article, which is really nice. But like I said, the PDFs don't come over if you have a PDF attachment in any of your reference files for your own use. Those PDFs don't go over, so that helps protect for copyright instances. Oops, didn't like that one for some reason. But you get the idea there that it will connect right into the library resources. All right. The second option we talked about is just creating a bibliography from this list. So they don't have this clicking functionality, but they'll get a PDF and you can have URLs or whatever to your references within that. In order to generate a bibliography, you first go to the Format tab, and on Bibliography, which is where it's at right now, the scrolling's a little tricky here. And in this case, it says which references do we want? So we're going to select our demo folder. Wants to know what style. We can pick APA 6. And the different styles, just be aware of if you want something that has links, like where you can create URLs, pick a style that uses that in the format. There are some style formats that don't use URLs or DOIs, and then you don't have links for your students to get to that reading material. So I'm just going to pick APA 6th, and you have a choice of outputs. RTF will take it into Word, so that's what I'm going to, rich text format. Go ahead and hit save, and you can either save the file and then work with it, or I'm going to just open it directly here. You want to make sure that you picked the style that you want before you create the bibliography, because once it's in Word, you can't change styles with a bibliography. It's basically the same as a copy and paste. It's different than when you're writing a document and you're doing in-text citations and it incorporates coding, and then you can change your reference style as you work with a document like that. But for just the bibliographies, what happened here? Oh, I don't want that. Cancel that. Okay, so here is what has been imported from those 3 references that I picked, and you can then go ahead and format this. This came over as read-only, so you'd have to convert it to, go into your file manager and convert it so that you can edit it. Not sure why this one did not pick up any URLs, but here's an example of one where it had a DOI, and it comes over as just text, but you can create a link to that DOI. I did that here just by highlighting it. You go to insert on Word, insert to, where's the hyperlink? And what I did here to convert the DOI to an actual hyperlink is I put http://dx.doi.org/ in front of that DOI number. And then what that does for you, I'm gonna cancel that. If the student clicks in here, again, that will take them to, hopefully it'll open in a second. That will take them directly to the article. If you're not familiar with DOIs, DOIs are, they're like a permanent URL. They're a number that's attached to that article to help locate it. So in fact, here they can get to that article from this page. Any questions on that? Any questions on EndNote Basic before I move forward with Mendeley demo? Yes.
If you use the first option where you share, what does the student get? Do they get?
They will see that same, they will go in with their own login. They will log into their EndNote Basic, and they will see what's in that folder that you shared. Right. Yeah, it's a lot like Google Docs, where you share a folder out, you send an email, they get an email and says register. If they haven't already got an account, it says register, and then they click in. And when they open their EndNote Basic, they will see that shared folder at the bottom of their list here. So let me show you. If I go on the My References tab, now I already have created a whole bunch of folders there. They won't see all these folders that I've created already. Theirs will be empty the first time they go in. But at the very bottom here, it says groups shared by others. They will see there, the one I just created, demo, it'll show up right there. And this little icon with various people, that's an indicator that that's a shared folder. Right, but like I said, it's free, it's very simple. They just register with the email address, their name. If you want to be able to see the find at UW, they need to use their UW email address. And there's instructions. Let me show you where I've got instruction on the library guide. Just if we go to the library web page. If you scroll down here a little bit, there's this green box. It says guides and tutorials. If you just search for citation management, oops, is it searching? Okay, and if you just click this first one here, it's just a little slow loading. Come on. So here's a page where there are a number of different options for citation management tools. So there's a tab right here for EndNote Basic, and there's the URL right there where you just click in and it'll give you a little sign up for establishing an account. The same thing with Mendeley here. If they go over here, right here is a link to sign up.
So the advantage of giving them the shared option as opposed to just sending creative bibliography is more dynamic.
Yes, I think so. And it gives them those direct links into the library resources. As long as, it's University of Wyoming. I don't know if we have people here that are from other schools, but if you're from another school, it would depend on whether your school library has a subscription to this facility or not. But this is really nice with the university because it will direct them right into the resource in the library website so that they're not having to hunt and try to figure out, well, where is this article? Right, yeah, is it free, is it not, is it a library resource? You don't have to worry about explaining to them where to find an article. The links are created right there for you. So yes, it is more dynamic. And like I said, if you wanted to use the read and write, they can do that. Like if you have small group projects where they're needing to share resources back and forth together, they can collect them together in a folder and use that for the project. So there are a couple of options, and I think it's an advantage. This is a functionality that you won't find in the other citation management tools. Most of the rest of them, you're pretty much restricted to just creating that static bibliography page in a Word document. Okay, any other questions? All right, I think we have a few minutes left. I can show you the Mendeley is very similar. This is a Mendeley screen here. I'm in the desktop version. In order to create a bibliography, you have to download the desktop version to do that. You can't do it from the online, but the desktop in Mendeley is free. It doesn't require a subscription like EndNote does. So in this case, all I have to do is grab some articles that I want. So I can just click to select, hold down my control key to select more than one of them. And the easiest way to do this is to open a blank Word document and then just grab the ones that have been selected and drag it right in. And there they are. Very, very easy, very quick and slick to move that over. And then you can do the same thing as you can, it looks like it's got some weird coding in here. You might have to clean that up if your reference isn't exactly clean, but where you've got a URL, again, you can just create that. Let's see where the links, hyperlink. And in this case, it fills the hyperlink in for you. So that's all you have to do to create that link. So you can have a link to a website if it's in the reference, if you have a URL, or you can do the same thing like I showed you with a DOI. So that you can give them some indication of where to go for that information. All right, and another option rather than just dragging is you can right click, do copy as, formatted citation, and that copies it into the desktop so that you can just paste it somewhere else. Okay, any questions on that?
So if you were creating a reading list for a class or teaching, which of these do you think would be most useful?
Well, I think, it depends if you are using one of these systems already, EndNote or Mendeley for your references for like your research and other activities, I would go with the one that you're already using because you already have references in there. As far as function, it's easier, I think it's easier to make bibliography from Mendeley. It's just a very quick, click and drag. It's a simpler process. If you want that functionality of being able to link into the library with the Find at UW, then I think EndNote is going to be a lot more helpful for you. So it's up to you. They're options for you to consider.
The sharing piece of RefWorks, because I use RefWorks.
Do you?
So,
okay, I've not explored that one. It might, it depends. It depends on what limitations for sharing. I don't know, like for
sharing the library with other people.
yeah, each one of these is a little different. So like with EndNote, I was able to do it because they have unlimited sharing ability. They have no restrictions on the number of groups or the number of people in a group to share. Whereas with Mendeley, the reason I didn't show that is because you have to pay additional to get those extra groups, and it can get very expensive. If you want a large group of 30 or 40 people, you're going to be paying a lot to share that out. So each system, they get their money through different ways, and with Mendeley, they get it by making you pay for sharing. In EndNote, they make you pay if you want additional functions for managing the references themselves. They have extra features that are in their desktop, but you don't have to have the desktop to use EndNote. It has a lot of functionality just in the online free version. Okay? Yes?
Do students get training on using these management systems at any point?
Typically, we don't do that with our freshman classes because it's just, we're trying to get them to use the databases and so on. With graduate level classes, if I get an instructor that asks me for a session on this, I can certainly do it. I've been asked to do consultations with graduate students before to use it. They're the ones that are more likely to want to know how to use these materials because they're collecting a lot of references for their research projects versus a class assignment where maybe they only need 5 or 10 references. They don't need to have a fancy tool like this necessarily. So it's up to you as an instructor. You can request training from us in the library, and we'll be happy to work with you on that.
Next session starts in 10 minutes, so we should let the next presenter